Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of This Is Our Year. I'm your host, Michael Kurland. Joining me, as always, Douglas O'Keefe. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, we're fighting through it, but we're doing pretty well, Mikey.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I think I came off probably what you have right now because I was flying all over the country.
Yeah, all kinds of sinus stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
gross.
I was running around Brooklyn last week, probably picked something up.
But
the lesson is always never leave your house.
The lesson is always never leave your house. And when you're in Brooklyn, you better be vaccinated or you can't do anything. So but that'll be something we'll talk about later on in the show.
Yeah, hear that, Michael Conforto?
What are we drinking today?
All right, we're gonna be on Cloud 9 today. Cloud 9 Saison by the beautiful people at Aspen Brewing Company.
Aspen?
Where the beer...
The French are assholes,
Where
Lloyd.
the beer... where the beer flows like wine.
Beautiful.
So, there we go. This one is like 6.8 or something, by the way.
Saison. So what's a Saison? Tell me all about that. Oh,
no. You put me on the spot. I don't know. It's not an IPA, which is nice. It's a nice break from that stuff. I always get Saison and Farmhouse Ale mixed up, right? It's kind of like a light beer. Not as much hoppy taste, right? But yeah, man, I guess I gotta become a beer nerd for this show, huh?
I mean, yeah.
I need some basic definitions at least.
Right. That's okay. They half the audience.
Well, hey, look. Shout out to Half Full Brewery in Stanford, by the way.
There you go. Is that blasphemous to drink the Aspen Brewery out of the Half Full Brewery cup, mug, pint?
No, only if you use the Guinness pint glass for anything else. That's
so it's not like wearing the concert T-shirt to the person's concert.
Nah, fuck that.
Which I infamously did to Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny, wait, was that the show we went to?
That was the show that we went to way back in the 90s. I want to say Roseland.
Wow. Roseland. Yep.
And it was
rest in peace, Roseland.
And it was me, you, and my sister, and Jason Smith. And if you recall correctly, I got so drunk, and I think you were like, I was like 16 or 17. I got so drunk. I may have partaken in some marijuana at the time, and it was so hot and crowded in this place, and I almost passed out, and I had to run to the small little vestibule where you came into Roseland, and I stumbled around, and Meredith followed me out, my sister, who's 4'11", and just trying to make sure I was okay. And I'm stumbling out looking for anywhere to throw up because I was like, it's coming. And I see this huge Rubbermaid, garbage can in the middle and there's a bunch of guys standing around smoking cigarettes because this is the 90s. You could still smoke cigarettes inside and drinking beers and whatever. And I lunge and projectile vomit into this trash can at the Lenny Kravitz concert. And there's 3 dudes standing around smoking cigarettes and they're probably their 40s. Yeah. And they looked at me and they're like, "Oh, what's going on?" Not
no, this is all.
Are you okay, kid?
This is all coming back to me. Yeah. This is all coming back to me. And there was one hippie, tie-dye hippie guy, t-shirt, and he was tripping balls, and he was like, "Dude, did your head explode?" that just came back to me.
It was actually, I think it was actually you that followed me out because you were able to weave through the crowd with me and my sister. You then went back in and got Meredith and said, "I think your brother's not doing okay, and I want to watch the concert. Go take care of him. I'll be fuck
here. This. Let love rule, Mike. We left you out.
I made it back just in time for Let Love Rule. So,
hey, that's all right. I've embarrassed myself as well. Maybe we'll talk about the Weezer show sometime. So, anyway,
well,
what are you drinking?
I'm drinking an Dakota 2018 Cab Sav from Knights Valley. This is Helena, Dakota. This is up in Napa or Healdsburg. So that actually, I believe that's Sonoma. I gotta also brush up on my wine, right? Sounds awesome that we don't know what the fuck we're talking about, but we're trying to be these connoisseurs over here.
We're still working out the kinks here.
Mom, sorry for the F-bombs. So anyway.
And the marijuana.
She knew about that. That's nothing new to her.
Yeah.
All right.
Cheers, buddy. And Mel too.
Cheers to Mel.
Hey, any NFL news today?
Dude.
For our audience, it's Wednesday, so some big trade just dropped, and I'll let Mikey.
March 23rd is where we're coming to you live and direct on 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, and the whole Twitterverse was in a friggin' frenzy this morning around noon to 9 a.m. out here. I was at the dentist. I was getting my teeth cleaned, and I pulled my phone up halfway through to see, Jets and Dolphins finalists for Tyreek Hill. And, trade, everything's been agreed to upon. It's all about Tyreek figuring out his destination. So, super excited. We've been talking all offseason as Jets fans. All we needed for the missing piece for Zach Wilson's development is that wide receiver, the Stephon Diggs to Josh Allen. And everyone got super excited, myself included. And
it was a glorious 45
minutes of pandemonium in Jets World. But once they said it came down to us and the Dolphins and he was choosing, I pretty much knew it was not going to. And then DJ Bieniemy from, I think he's at the Daily News, came out and said people at one Jets drive are not very confident about the chances of us getting it. And you break it down, you got the Dolphins, which offer no state income tax, and Miami's weather and Miami's lifestyle, versus the Jets, who have the New Jersey taxes, weather, and lifestyle. Most people are going to pick Miami 10 times out of 10. I will say though, I had a little bit of hope because, you're Tyreek Hill, you're the cheetah. You've been playing with Patrick Mahomes for, I don't know, the last 5-6 years, whatever it is. And right. You've made a career on yards after the catch and deep balls, right? And what's the one thing that Tua cannot do?
Throw that deep ball.
So
I was going to say, if anything, I was actually going to ask you where you rank Tua in terms of QBs in the league compared to Zack.
Neither one of them have done much. So they both are in the bottom third currently, but just pure talent. Tua, I've never loved Tua coming out of college. He reminds me of Chad Pennington. He's super accurate, and he has a noodle arm. He can't throw the outside, hash marks. He can't do those sideline outs, and he can't throw the deep ball. He's going to be a guy that's going to dink and dunk you. And, if you have the team around him to, great defense and some great other things, wide receivers, and they've put all that in place. So, if Tua can't step it up this year, he's not an NFL caliber quarterback. But
I more or less agree, but it's funny, but before he got hurt in college, everyone was like, this guy's the sure thing. Like, we've never seen a sure thing like this before. It may be
you're right. I evaluated him in college as well, and I thought, this guy, he reminds me of Mark Brunell. There's nothing really sexy about him. He's a lefty, undersized lefty that can't run and can't throw deep and outside the hashes. Great. I think even Brunell probably had a strong
the lack of the deep ball is surprising, and I guess it is easy to look better at Alabama. I will say, good luck trying to cover Tyreek and Jalen Waddle now.
Right. Well, that's.
Better go get a cornerback.
We can. You're going right into segues here. The draft already. What are we doing with the 4 pick? What are we doing with the 10?
Well, okay, we can go back to the deal. Though.
Yeah, the deal was.
They gave up
a first, a second, 2 fourths, and a fifth, and they got a sixth back or something like that. And then they paid him $30 million a year guaranteed for the next 4 years. The final year of the contract's not guaranteed. So you're talking about almost $90 million over the first 3 years of the contract. And I'm not going to say anything other than the Jets are trying to build a culture, and the guy already has a domestic on his record. He didn't get drafted. Yeah. He didn't get drafted until the 4th round for a reason, and it wasn't because he wasn't talented. It was because he had character red flags. And I don't know if you bring that guy here or New York or Miami, if that's good for him. Maybe he's turned his off the field life around. He hasn't gotten in trouble.
I really hope he has, because the NFL's had enough of this.
Yeah,
It's not just him.
No, and they let them get away with it if they have talent. I mean, the fact
they do if they're good.
The fact that we should talk about Deshaun here in a second, but
right.
So Tyreek, I think at the end of the day, they use the Chiefs use the Jets as leverage to get Miami's deal up, because I think Tyreek was always going to Miami. It happened so fast from the time they reported it to the time that his contract was announced was less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
So how did that all get done so quickly that they could announce it and have the definitives if it wasn't already done and they just were waiting for the Dolphins to bring their compensation up? So again, it looks like the Jets got leveraged. But I will say from my point of view, looks like we're in the conversation with all the people we're supposed to be in. We're just getting beaten out or we're not making deals because, Douglas was in on Ridley, got suspended for gambling. What are you going to do? That's not his fault. He was in on Cooper. Cowboys wouldn't let us have a window of negotiation to renegotiate his contract. And we didn't want to bring him with $20 million hit and try to renegotiate him on an extension. And they traded him to Cleveland. And then we were into the very end on Hill. So we're doing what we need to be doing, which is trying to get that number one receiver for Zack. So I can't fault him. He just got leveraged. So wish.
And I look at it this way: he drove up the price a bit for a division rival.
Exactly.
But, wow, that AFC East though.
I mean,
we battle. It's no AFC West yet, but it's gonna be a tough year.
Yeah, like you said, covering Jalen and covering Tyreek next year is going to be interesting. And that to your point, everyone's talking about the draft. Who we going at 4 now? It was guaranteed lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels. We were going edge at 4. Now everyone's talking about Sauce Gardner at 4.
Sauce Gardner, baby.
And to be honest, it's not the worst idea in the world. There's enough edges that between taking him and whoever goes in the top 3 and if we take Gardner at 4, one of them's going to fall to 10, or we have enough capital to move up to 8 or 7 if we really want to get there and make sure that we lock in that guy. So, but yeah, going back to Tua, if you look at Waddle's numbers from last year, he had 104 catches as a rookie and he had 1,015 yards. It's less than 10 yards a catch. So he's
a lot of dink and dunk.
A lot of dink and dunk.
And obviously Hill can be dangerous in that kind of thing, but no, you want to stretch the field.
Yeah, I mean, how many over the top catches did he have in the last 5 years with Mahomes? He's had 54 touchdowns. He was 3rd in the NFL in touchdowns over the last however many years. And I'd say a quarter to a third of those are deep bombs. And yes, there's definitely where he's caught and broke and gone. But if you got to break a tackle every time, and the defense doesn't have to play for the deep ball anymore, it's gonna change how defenses play you, and you're not gonna be as effective as you were when you were at Kansas City. So from my point of view, you took the money. He's already got a ring, and he's going to a place where he can get more money. So if he made a purely football decision, he would have came to the Jets with a guy that can clearly get that ball out there, 50, 60 yards.
And he can
chuck it out there. I don't know what else he can do yet, but he can throw that. He can throw that ball fucking far on a backspin like Uncle Rico. So
over them mountains.
I'm gonna throw this football over them there mountains. So yeah, man, that's where we're at with Tyreek. But to your point, let's talk a little bit about the NFL and bad behavior. I'm still kind of disgusted about what happened with Deshaun last week. The fact that the guy was able to manipulate $234 million guaranteed, and he's got 22 civil suits for sexual assault or 22 sexual assault cases still pending out there, and he hasn't even been fined or suspended yet by the NFL, which is definitely coming. And the Browns reworked his contract so that the fine or suspension in year 1 would be so minimal to him that it wouldn't matter how many games he missed, because his base salary is only $1 million. And they gave up 3 first-round draft picks and another 3 draft picks for this guy. And the NFL doesn't punish guys like this for doing bad things. And it's just such a how is it that Colin Kaepernick is blacklisted from the NFL because he knelt and he didn't want to get with the program, but Deshaun Watson can sexually assault 22 women and get $234 million guaranteed?
Well, yeah, as you said, talent wins out, but maybe I'll get a little spicy and say this is a league with owners that are maybe not great people, and I mean, it's 22 cases, right? That can't be a conspiracy.
No, where there's smoke, there's fire.
This is just like serial behavior, right?
And for the record, the weirdest serial behavior ever. I don't understand this, and this is my take on it.
Sorry, technical difficulties over here. All right, I'm back.
I don't understand. Explain this to me. How, as a professional athlete, and we'll go back to the Derek Jeter rule, in my thoughts, you are a millionaire, you're in the limelight, and you are deciding that you want to go hit up random masseuses on Instagram and then fly to meet them in random hotels so that you can air hump and try to get them to blow you. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you're really that, obviously I don't think you have a problem getting women, right? If you're Deshaun Watson and you're single. But if you think, right? But then if you really want to get women, there's other ways to do it that are discreet, and you don't have to do this. So this is predatory behavior, and I don't understand why this guy would do this other than he's a predator. And so the NFL is rewarding predatory behavior, and take it back to Kaepernick and compare the two, but it just doesn't make sense. Calvin Ridley bets $1,500 on a game on FanDuel, and he's suspended for a year. And
Yep. Josh Gordon smokes pot,
and he's almost he's going to get kicked out of the league if he smokes again. But this guy can do that, and I'm going to guess it's going to be no more than an 8-game suspension. So,
I honestly I could see 3. Like, remember the Ray Rice thing? Like,
yeah,
what did that start as? Like 2. It's the NFL, and I was getting to the point about the owners, and the Haslams aren't the only ones, but they could have done without that fucking statement. Just skip that statement where it's like, oh, we believe in Deshaun, he's a great guy. Right. Just shut up. You traded for him because you want to win, and he's a talented guy.
Say that then.
Like enough of the bullshit. Don't talk to us like we're sick.
But they do. I mean, it's every PR department in every football or sports team that just feeds everyone bullshit like they are sheep, because we are sheep. Because you know what? Everyone in Cleveland,
because here we are talking about
everyone in Cleveland is going to go buy that fucking jersey. Everyone. So.
Yep. We go through this compartmentalizing our fandom for our NFL teams and the NFL in general. The NFL is a disaster in terms of social stuff or just, you're right. It's just straight up predators, and we've seen this before. It's going to happen again. So, well,
hopefully they fix it at some point in time. And I don't think it's all straight up predators, right? But I think they reward bad behavior because
well, they do, and they also rely on the legal system and the grand jury process, which does let these guys off more often than not. And that I can't speak to.
If your lawyer has enough money, and he knows the right people, then you get off. You get off. When was the last time a superstar got indicted of something, pretty major, that there wasn't a slap on the wrist?
I'm trying to remember. I mean, like Ray Rice, I think only just obviously didn't get a job because he was kind of washed, right? Rae Carruth, he literally murdered someone. No,
that guy's still in jail.
Yeah, but who else?
Speaking of that guy had some crazy story that came out recently because he was coming up on parole, because it's been almost 25 years, right?
Like 20 years
since I think he killed like his girlfriend, right? Or he had someone.
Yeah,
he had someone mama, try to kill. He had someone kill his baby mama, and I guess his kid wanted to meet him because the kid lived, right? And and the kid lived, and they wanted to meet him, and they were trying to. It was some 20 years later story, and I'm like, that to me was mind blowing. Like, but I guess you try to figure out where you're coming from, right? So.
Where's Henry Ruggs at?
He's
done?
Going to jail. That guy's not getting off. He was immediately released. That was also part of the downfall of like the Mayock Gruden era in Vegas. But Gruden still owns part of the team, so it
doesn't matter.
Anyway, enough of this downtrodden
I know.
conversation about the NFL. Boo. We love the NFL. We're gonna watch. I watch every Sunday for 17 weeks and all the shitty preseason and the playoffs. So, yep, I'll be back. I'll be back in
right there with you, buddy.
September with a beer in hand or a wine.
Aye. But let's
segue. Let's segue.
What other miserable shit? You want to talk about vaccines?
No.
Now?
Let's.
How about the?
Let's talk about some miserable trade deadline in the NHL, Doug.
Oh, that was an exciting one, huh?
It was par for the course. And if you watch this team for the whole year, come on, you knew Lou wasn't gonna do it.
I'm not surprised.
How do you feel about it?
I'm a little annoyed. I wish I had a spicy take for it. I wasn't angry that he did nothing, but I was a little annoyed. Some things like having a backup goaltender make $5 million don't make sense, but I can also understand if like there just wasn't a market for that. I'm not. I think there was only one other goalie that got traded for term, and that guy made a lot less, and I can't remember who it is. So, Varlamov aside, and obviously they're bringing the whole damn band back next year. So Mayfield was never really an option. I thought they could have gotten a lot for him, but whatever. Like again, from some kind of team that wants to make a run, he's like the perfect last piece, I think. But whatever, he'll be back. By the way, he just immediately got hurt.
Yeah, he's out for the year.
He's out for the year,
which is fine.
So
rest
that's
up,
cool.
Rest up, buddy.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, might as well lose, right? So, bring up the kids. But so, and by the way, I don't think he was getting much for Chara Green, so I'm not gonna get mad at him on that. Clutterbuck is a little weird to me, though.
Okay.
And I wonder why they couldn't have signed him to the same contract and traded him. Do you feel the same way?
You mean like traded him and then re-signed him in the offseason? I think
Lou said on record that he was getting offers.
I think at the end of the day, he went to Cal Clutterbuck and he went to Zach Parise. He pretty much alluded to this in his comments after the fact and said, I've gone to the guys and they made it clear they wanted to stay. He gave them the option. Do you want to go to a contender if someone makes an offer for you? Do you want to stay? And they all said they wanted to stay. They wanted to finish out the season. Green said it. I think Chara said it too. I think everyone said they wanted to stay. So Lou said, you know what? Then I'm going to let you stay. And I think signing Clutterbuck to this deal, I mean, it's finally he's getting paid what he should be getting paid at 1.5 a year, 1.75 a year for 2 years.
Yeah, by the way, I'm fine with the extensions.
And same thing for Parise. 1 year league minimum, like fine. Like, and so what it does is it and to your point on Varlamov, I think so Fleury got dealt, right? That was the one guy. I don't know what they got for Fleury.
Yeah.
But
I think he was the one guy with term.
I think he's a UFA, but I don't think.
No, okay. So there was someone with term that got got dealt. The goalie market's different then.
I think we could have got for Varlamov. I think we could have got a first from Toronto if we really wanted to, hold their feet to it. He's got a no trade. He may have said he doesn't want to go to Canada.
Right. He had 16 teams. So again, I understand that was a tough.
But at the end of the day, they work well together. Him and Sorokin, they're best friends. Yeah,
It just
he
sucks.
makes $5
million.
But Sorokin
he's going to play maybe 30 games.
Sorokin only makes 4. They're probably going to play 50 and 30. But going into the playoffs, we've seen every year, we've had Grice won us a series a couple years ago. Sorokin won us a series a couple years ago when they were the backup. So I think, I think what Lou has set up here, and I think this has been the take everywhere, is that next year's the window's closing, and next year's probably the last year of the window, or maybe one more year, and you got everything in place, right? So to the point, like there's no holes on this team going into free agency except for second line left-handed defenseman, and hopefully a top line winger to replace one of the guys on the.
Those are pretty
big holes. We have $11 million in cap space. We have 12 forwards. We have 14 forwards now. And we're probably going to have to deal one of them, which everyone hopes it's going to be Bailey. But in reality, it's probably going to be Beauvillier, or they both might go out the door. And and everyone's hoping, Chychrun, I'm sure Lou made a swing at him before the deadline, but from what I heard, they wanted a multiple firsts. a player and a prospect, and it's like that's asinine. We're not even in the playoff run, so we'll see what we can work out in the off season. But I think Beauvillier and Bailey are probably the two guys that they're going to look to move because their contracts make the most sense to get out the door. Beauvillier's
especially Bailey, I think he's getting paid less than his cap hit going forward. So he's Arizona special.
Exactly.
But I was a little troubled by Lou's comments saying that he wanted to make hockey trades, like player for player, and that shit doesn't really happen anymore.
Well,
so I hope you have a plan, because the top of the Atlantic or the Metro, sorry, I'll get used to that someday. The top of the Metro is pretty sick. The Pens and the Caps never fall off. You just can't count on it. And the Rangers are here to stay, and the Hurricanes are great. So I don't have total faith in just rolling this roster back next year.
I don't either.
I need to see.
I don't either, Doug. But I don't know what the alternative is, because we're kind of in this place where this is who we have to roll with.
I hear you. I guess you go for it one more time, but the hangover is going to be bad.
It is.
After that, there is nothing in the cupboard. There's no.
I mean, but
really, except that one guy out in Finland.
I don't agree with you on that. I think maybe other teams don't believe in our prospects the way we do, but they're system prospects. And like, if you look at Simon Holmstrom, the first round pick a couple years ago, he's top. I want to say he's like top 5 in the AHL in scoring this year. He's only 21 years old.
No, for people under 21, I think he's definitely not top 5 in the AHL.
In scoring, he's definitely top 10.
Yeah.
He's definitely.
He's not top 5 on the team, I don't think.
In scoring, yeah,
man. I go to a few. I can't reach it. I go to a few Bridgeport games. Their leading scorers are like Koivula, Chris Terry.
Maybe it's not score overall. Maybe it's goals.
I think what you saw is like on the under 21 stat, which he does look pretty good in that. Like, again, he is kind of a kid in a man's league.
Yes.
So who knows?
Who knows with him? And
I don't know if he's like a top 6 option.
Okay.
That kid Ratty is tearing it up though out in Europe. Like, that might be a steal of a pick that they got in the Letty deal.
That was definitely a steal of a pick. He was definitely thought to go number 1 overall. Consensus going into the year, and then everything COVID happened and it fell apart.
He's had a weird trajectory, right? Almost like a Hosang like trajectory. Let's hope it doesn't end like Josh.
How's that guy doing?
But he went to the Olympics. I know that. Yeah. I don't think they won the gold. So
yay. So
I love Josh, man. I hope he's doing
I guess
well.
He just couldn't get along with it. I did think he had a more of a opportunity to be good and didn't get quite that opportunity. But I don't think.
He had those zone entries, man. The team doesn't like, other than Barzell.
Yep.
But yeah, he's kind of didn't do much else. He just circled with the puck, which Barzell's been doing. He's been playing with Holmstrom. They haven't gotten the results. Have you watched any of these games? I'm still watching.
Yeah. No, I tune in. I'm not going to spend 3 hours sitting down and going, start to finish. But I do think, in a perfect world, a left defenseman and a top line winger are achievable with what we have this offseason. I think.
Here's a question for you: Do you reunite Barzell and Lee? I mean, Lee and Nelson Beauvillier have been really good.
I think all that stuff will work itself out line wise, and I think whoever's the best to play with the best person will be great. I think Wahlstrom needs to stay up there with Barzell. I think they need to learn how to play with each other, because that's your best bet at getting a sniper. And then there's 2 big UFAs, hopefully, fingers crossed, coming up this year in Philip Forsberg and Johnny Gaudreau. And I would love to see either of those guys.
Oh, from your lips, right? But the best left-handed defenseman is already out. Right. Lindholm goes to Boston, signs the extension. So good luck with that, Lou. I maintain that the problem this year has been the defense. God bless Chara and Green, but yeah, they're really, really missing, obviously, Devin Taves or Nick Leddy.
Nick Leddy.
I think you are right about the system. Like, if you just plug in like a decent or fairly good LD here, and then figure out, like, maybe put Salo on the in the third pair
Well,
or whoever.
I think you're going to bring
back. We're cooking
I think you're
again,
bringing
right?
Green back. I think you're going to let Salo battle it out with Green for the third pairing next to Mayfield. I think Dobson's earned the second pairing role.
By the way, props to Dobson.
He's made a huge jump forward.
I don't know. Oh,
yes, thank God that we've developed somebody.
Right. It's almost time for another beer.
It's about that time, right? Hey, you are impeccable timing halfway through the show. I love it.
We have an Equilibrium from our friends. I'm sorry, this is a D-Hop 40 from Equilibrium in Middletown, New York, double IPA. Apparently nothing to do with the Arizona Cardinals receiver, but looks good.
I love it. I also love that you saved the double IPA for the second half of the show.
Yes. Good luck, Jenny, later tonight.
But to talk, a little bit further about that, even someone, I believe Nick Leddy is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year.
He is. Oh my God. A lot of Islanders fans hate him. I wouldn't be apoplectic if he came back, but
you know what?
It better be a stopgap.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't give him a 5-year, $25 million contract, but if you get him back for 1-2 years at $4 million a year, and he could slide onto that second line, because I agree with you that the defense is what has absolutely, besides the fucked up schedule, and that's
all that stupid shit,
and that's why Lou's fairly certain he wants to run it back, because look at what they're doing over the last 10 games. They're playing like they could play with a full roster, but
that's true. But again, this is a better playoff team than a regular season team, and they're going to have a lot of trouble in the Metro.
Well, I mean, that's all yet to be determined, right? We got to play the games. We can put that down on paper, but you bring a guy back like Nick Leddy, and I think your point is the defense is what's killed us all year, and I agree with you, but I disagree with why. I think that you alluded to it earlier, like the zone entry has been our biggest problem this year. The only on defense we've been slow, and Chara just gets cooked, and Green is I mean, if Green's playing 12, 13, 14 minutes a night, cool. But if he's playing more than that, we got a problem. And he was playing.
You can't have both of them in the lineup. I mean, we've been saying that
one of them playing 20-plus minutes a night. No, you can't.
Right.
And that's what's happened this year. And so,
which, by the way, is amazing. It makes what Dobson's been doing even more amazing. And I know a lot of the points are on the power play, but wow, he's been lugging Chara around all year. But you got to give Chara a lot of credit for the steps that Dobson's made as a player. Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, his play's tightened up over the year as the years go on.
Chara's?
Yeah, he was an absolute.
Oh yeah, he couldn't get his. It took him a while to get his legs underneath him in the beginning of the year. And I mean, he's still old and slow, but I mean, he was really old and really slow in the beginning of the year. But you bring a guy like Leddy back, and that's his specialty. Is that guy can enter the zone and get the team set. Yep. The thing that I've watched more than anything, and that's been the most frustrating thing of this season, is our zone entries are non-existent. It's either Barzal skates in and skates in about 50 circles,
and he can never find a pass anyway. So he's just doing twirls.
He's doing twirls until someone fucking nails him into the boards or he turns it over, or you dump and chase. And like that reminds me of the Kyle Okposo years. I mean, we had a bunch of guys that couldn't skate, and all they could do, they were like midi power forwards, that undersized power forwards that dump and chase. I don't care if the fourth line is dumping and chasing. That's what they're supposed to do. But there's never a breakout.
Even the Pajot line. I mean, that's what they do.
But there's never a breakout. There's never a breakout. There's never a fast break.
Not much. Although Pelech, Pulock, Dobson, I think. And Pulock's been hurt, but they've come so far. That is a really sick top three. Add that with Sorokin, and then you have the four centers. You have Lee, and maybe another wing or two. So again, you're right. There's something here. You don't tear it down. Lou's still got his work cut out for him, though. He's got to fix that left side of the D.
I think that can be fixed a little bit easier this year than it was last year. And I think we were in cap hell. He had to do a bunch of cartwheels to get out of it. Cost us a bunch of draft picks to get Ladd off the books.
It cost us Devin Tays 2 years ago, man. And he's been fighting that for a while. I just Can you imagine this team with Devin?
I mean, we wouldn't be talking about needing a second pairing left defenseman. That's for goddamn sure.
No.
But yeah, so I think we've got some options going into the year, and standing pat with these guys. It's like you said. I'm pretty agnostic about it. I don't care either way. Apathetic.
Right. Again, yeah, we're not angry. We're not like excited though, right? It was a letdown, and trust in Lou, right?
Trust in Lou.
It's been a ride.
It has been a ride. The guy's going to turn 80. He said Trotz is under contract next year, so hopefully they get that thing ironed out, because I'd hate to lose that guy. But I can't see Trotz going anywhere. He's not even 60 yet, so I can't believe that guy's been coaching for.
Is he not?
He became the Nashville Predators head coach at like 34. He was like the youngest head coach in the NHL, and he stayed there for like 15 years.
I feel like he's looked like that his whole life, though. So he looked like a Ninja Turtle when he was 34.
I think he had a little bit of hair
awesome.
when he first came out. But yeah, man. So it's pretty crazy. I don't even think he might be just turned 60, but he's not sick.
Barry's the man.
Let him coach until he's 70.
Yeah, please come back, Barry. Don't do a one and done on us. Like we need you. We need you.
I think he's got unfinished business here. I don't think he wants to leave. He didn't leave Washington until he won, and they didn't want him back. He got canned in Nashville after 15 years, and they just wanted a new voice. I don't think he's going to.
And the Washington thing was over money or something.
No, they wanted to bring.
We can get Matt.
I think they wanted to bring. Yeah, Matt. What was the letting Trotz go? What was that all about? I think it was the guy underneath, right?
It was mostly money.
I mean,
we gave him such a terrible offer. It was just kind of laughable. And
thank you.
He just kind of walked from it.
But what was the guy they elevated, his like associate coach that they were
Todd Reardon. Yeah, he was our like next in charge, the guy we were grooming, but he just became like the worst coach ever, and we canned him.
Yeah. I thought that was why, because they just wanted that. They wanted Reardon in his space. So they gave him.
We put.
Yeah.
We put Reardon to bed.
I believe so. Yeah, he was a terrible coach. Thanks, Matt. As always, our DC correspondent.
Yes. Here's to Barry staying. But yeah, man, that's it with the Isles. I mean, hopefully they bring up guys like Salo,
Witherspoon, like Bulldog. Let's see what we got in some of these guys.
Yeah. It might as well. Mayfield's down, so let's go with the kids.
All right. So now let's talk about some Nets. Let's talk about some Nets for a little bit here. We haven't gotten to the Brooklyn Nets on this podcast yet, and I am a diehard Brooklyn Nets fan. I have been a Nets fan since the days of the New Jersey Nets, the almost New Jersey Swamp Dragons, and the Izod Center /Meadowlands/Swamp. So
they should have gone with that name.
Dude, I don't know if you've ever seen the piece that they did on ESPN about how they almost did. It's a great read. I don't know who wrote it, but I think it was Jonkitsik or whatever his name is. But they talk about how the Nets were just, one of the most downtrodden, least.
It's a joke.
Least, sales for jersey and apparel. And it was in the 90s, right after the Raptors had just come out, and they were.
I think the Islanders and the Devils were getting better ratings back then on Sports Channel than the Nets.
They still might be.
Nah.
But yeah, so we're in this season. We're coming down to the last 10 games of the year. We got Durant back now, and we are in 8th place, working our way up to 7th. And hopefully getting into 6th to get out of the play-in scenario. Specifically, get out of the play-in scenario in Toronto. We do not want to play Toronto in the first play-in round because we will not get Kyrie for any of that series, and that would be not good.
That's a disaster. And you got John Morant tonight. So
John Morant is already out for tonight's game, so I'm going to be watching, hoping that we can win that, get a W there, and get back.
Well, fuck. I'm not
climb back up these standings here. But Durant's been playing like a man on fire. Took out Utah 2 nights ago with the B squad bench. I think Bruce Brown, who's finally come to life now that Harden's gone, is playing like a guy who wants a new contract and likes to be in the NBA. And shout out to Bruce Brown. I think he's the guy that always does the dirty things. One of the guys that just keeps everything together. Came back.
He does every time I tune in. He's doing stuff. He's not afraid to go. I like
he's a 6'4" guy that can play. He played at center. He played power forward. He's playing shooting guard right now as like an old school shooting guard from the 80s and 90s that couldn't really shoot, but could muscle his way into the paint, which is what he's good at, and he's a great defender. So anyway, we got a game against Memphis tonight. It's going to be a challenge, even with Morant out. But we have Kyrie and we have KD tonight because it's in Memphis, and we got 10 games, and I want to say we're 3 behind Toronto, and we're 6 behind Cleveland, and we want to leapfrog some teams here to get out of the play-in scenario. So.
You're actually only 2 behind Toronto.
Right, 2 behind. Thank you.
So
Thank you, Douglas. I appreciate that.
I'm
but KD's been playing lights out since he got back, and since Harden left, this team's been playing like a cohesive unit again, which is what was missing under Harden. Harden was playing Harden ball, and it's literally the worst type of basketball ever. It reminded me of Joe Johnson from the olden days, where you just ISO Joe and you ISO Harden, and he's either going to do a step back 3, he's going to drive and try and go to the hole, or he's going to try and pick and roll with the center. And
or the Melo Knicks,
And
the stuff that's tough to watch.
It's real tough to watch, and I was never a fan of acquiring him. I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad we got something for him. Simmons hasn't played yet. It doesn't look like he's going to play this year. Joe Harris isn't going to play this year.
Another surgery, right?
Second ankle surgery. So
sucks.
It's not been a kind year, and it hasn't been a kind 3 years as far as surgeries go. We haven't been able to keep main guys healthy, and the Harden trade was somewhat of a disaster that we mitigated by getting Simmons and a couple of picks and Curry and Drummond to come back our way. So I don't think anyone wants to play us in the playoffs, and I really think the big thing is back to the thing that we don't want to talk about on this show is New York City vac status. I don't know until Kyrie can play.
I haven't heard any updates yet. Adams is sitting on this.
Came out on Tuesday and said, they're going to remove masks from schools for elementary schools on, I want to say Friday. And if everything keeps going the way it's going, either this Friday or next Friday, I can't remember. And that's like another step towards getting rid of the, the New York City public employee mandate.
But he's really slow playing.
He's doing it, and that's what we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago. Is he's doing this for the publicity. He is trying to get the people that want the mandate to stay in place to secure them as voters. And apparently what I hear is most of the
everyone's done.
I think everyone all the businesses like it though, is what they're saying, because they like going to work knowing that the people at work are vaccinated and they can feel safe at work, right? So
why does a visiting team get to roll in unvaccinated and get to play, but the home team doesn't?
That's the question.
It's just completely incoherent. Other states have made exceptions for sports teams. I believe Boston, of all friggin' places, has done that. So, come on, E.
Why are you getting so up in arms, Doug? Why is this frustrating you?
Because I feel like we're going to deal with this with the Mets.
Thank you for the segue, sir. Yes, I think, and I think that is probably our best hope for getting this mandate removed quickly. Baseball. Unfortunately,
like Aaron Judge not being able to play.
I think the Mets and the Yankees, and we'll take an assist from one of our hated rivals here, are gonna help the Nets in the playoffs. To be honest, more than anything that happened at the trade deadline. So opening day is 2 weeks away, and if you think that Steve Cohen and Hal Steinbrenner are going to be okay with fielding minor league guys for home games, I think Eric Adams has another thing coming to him. And I think, when it's Joe Tsai and the Brooklyn Nets, Joe Tsai was very accommodating, and we've tried to be very accommodating. I think that's the Brooklyn way, is to be accommodating, not just for the Nets, but just the city in and of itself, right? Very progressive. But I think when you start messing with a couple of billionaires' pockets and
attitudes may change.
So I don't know. I think Uncle Stevie is going to help push this over the line here. So I hope so, because I cannot imagine this stretching out in through the playoffs and into next season. And what a disaster it would be, Doug, if they forced the Mets and the Yankees to do the same thing that they forced Kyrie to do all year. And at the end of the day, get vaccinated, right?
Get fucking vaccinated. Yeah, get boosted. I went down to the city and got sick, man. It's no joke. You don't want to get COVID. That said, just, let's test every day if you have to. Carve something out. New York needs their sports, man. This world is burning. Don't fuck this up, Eric. Yep. Come on. I don't want to find out that, like, Jacob deGrom's not vaccinated and he can't pitch at home. I mean, that might be a entertaining episode of This Is Our Year.
I like that. I think you did it well right there.
No, thank you. I've been working on it in the mirror.
Dude, I mean, I don't know. Do we know who's unvaccinated on the Mets?
Oh, we don't. I think we're pretty sure that Brandon Nimmo is. I feel bad doing this. I like these guys. I don't want to.
We just. I'm not calling them out to see if they're a good or bad person. I'm calling them out to see who's not going to be on the field for the team if Eric Adams fucks this up.
I think we know that. Yeah, and this is bad because this is both hearsay and like kind of muddled. But I thought I saw something about. Maybe Michael Conforto hasn't been signed yet because he's not vaccinated either, and teams aren't with that. I don't know
either.
So, but out of all sports, though, if you think about it, is it surprising that baseball is maybe the most unvaccinated? I mean, just knowing. Maybe I'll shut up, but just like knowing the demographic of that sport, I could see a lot of people that maybe we didn't really think of, and it's like, oh shit, I guess that makes sense.
Are you referring to guys that are very pro-America?
We're all pro-America, Mike.
That is true. That is true. Maybe guys who are a little more conservative. Guys that are friendly with Aubrey Huff. Those kind of guys.
Mr. Huff, yeah. I muted him a long time ago, but I hear he's still.
I think he got muted himself. I think he lost a lot of followers, but yeah,
that sucks.
It wasn't the worst thing that ever happened.
You hate to see that.
You hate to see people being muted. So yeah, I don't know, but
someone think of the trolls.
It's good. It's good to talk about a little baseball though too. It's a good segue. We finally got some spring training back.
Let's talk some.
We got some spring training back.
Man.
So.
And Jake looked great,
right? And that put my fears to ease, right? I didn't know if he could even throw. Absolutely. I saw him throwing bullpen sessions, but we didn't actually see him throw. So how many innings did he do yesterday? Like 2 or 3 innings, a couple of strikeouts, hit 99 on the gun.
Oh, dude, I thought he struck out 5 in 2 innings.
Hit 99 on the gun.
That's our Jake.
Our guy, right? And Scherzer is a fucking psychopath. The guy threw fucking 5 innings in his spring training debut at 37 years old. I don't know whether to be pissed at Showalter for that or be upset, be pissed at Scherzer because he probably told Showalter, you're not fucking taking me out before the 5th inning. I'm getting my pitches in, goddammit. And if you haven't seen any of his YouTube stuff, please go look at Scherzer's YouTube stuff.
Well, I watched that one 15-minute clip of the Nats fan who just compiled all the insane shit that he did during his time in Washington, and maybe Matt even wants to jump in again. But I will say that, oh my God, this is going to be so much fun, especially with Buck being old school. Oh, the blow-ups, like we're bringing back just the craziness in Flushing, right? Hopefully.
I don't think it'll be the craziness. I think we're going to bring some professionalism to Flushing, but good baseball.
Okay. All right. Part of me thinks that does this generation of players rebel against Buck? We'll see.
I don't know. I gotta think that Scherzer had a choice, a hand-picked choice in picking this guy. So I can't imagine that he's gonna. I think he's gonna be Scherzer didn't come here to be the beta. He's coming here to be the alpha. So I think Jake's the laid back guy. He's gonna, follow Scherzer's footsteps. Then you got a great rotation with Bassett, Walker, and hopefully Cookie Carrasco can pitch
if they're healthy. We're gonna see a lot of Tyler McGill to start the year.
Maybe David Peterson. Yeah,
maybe.
Wow. So, how do you feel about the lineup?
But I still think they need an outfielder. What do you think?
I
just don't think they can. All three of those guys can stay healthy for the whole year.
Between Marte and Nimmo and Kana and Nimmo. Yeah, and we got who's our backup outfielders like Dom and JD.
Right now it's Jankowski, Travis Jankowski with the flow, and we got Nick Plumber, Khalil Lee. I mean, it's the bench mob again.
So maybe Michael Conforto comes back as the prodigal son.
Maybe give him, throw him like what 8 figures.
1 year,
just 1 year deal.
What did he make last year?
He made what was the qualifying
18?
offer? Like
it was like 18, yeah.
18.
So he didn't take the qualifying offer last year, so we'd probably have to give him somewhere around there to get him to come back. But I don't think Stevie Bucks, baby. He's already said I don't give a shit. I just want to win. So I think he's the best guy out there that we could bring back, besides a left-handed reliever, which we sorely need.
Well, apparently this team just doesn't care. Like they have faith in all their righties in the bullpen. I mean, it's a decent bullpen. But yeah, it's a little scary. It's kind of like how we're so obsessed with the left-handed defenseman, even though I think Barry does mix and match. We'll see how that goes. Chase and Shreve, good luck against Soto and Harper and Olsen, as you mentioned. But yeah, look, this is going to be a lot of fun, assuming no Vax crap. The NL East, Jesus, stacked.
Except for the Nats and the Marlins. So we'll see those guys hopefully on the bottom half of the standings.
And the Phils. Fuck them too.
Fuck the Phillies. And I was just in Clearwater, and I had to deal with every fucking Phillies fan that flew down. I forgot that was a thing because I live on the West Coast now, and we just go to Scottsdale and enjoy spring training, and it's great because you can drive to literally every stadium in an hour. And
it's all right
Florida's just... They haven't gotten with it yet.
No.
So, well, Dougie, it's been great today. How you feeling after your double IPA? You feeling good?
Oh, God, I'm feeling good.
Great.
You sure you don't want to do another hour? We can break down the Mets bench.
I think that will spare the audience on the Mets bench till next week.
I think we better quit while we're ahead.
That's right. So. All right, audience. Well, it's been great. Dougie, it's been great. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching.
This podcast was produced by Heartcast Media.